It's 5 o'clock and time for Wiregrass Strong. The new coronavirus epidemic is a big problem that's expected to become bigger in the weeks and months to come. For those who are infected as well as those trying to avoid infection, these are trying times. But amid all the doom and gloom, there are some positive stories, positive messages, and reasons to remain hopeful. So every afternoon at this time, your Wiregrass Radio family of stations will come together while staying apart to help you stay informed. We're going to be seeking your input. If you're a business impacted by the virus, call and let the Wiregrass know what you are doing to continue safely providing your services or goods. And if you're a parent working hard to take care of your family, we'd love to hear how you are coping. Remember, only the facts, no hearsay or rumors, and we're trying to keep things positive. Our number is 334-699-1053, or you can join us on YouTube Live, and you can chat throughout the program. And we'd like to welcome you to a Wiregrass Strong for a Thursday afternoon. This is WESP, WECB, and WJRL Dothan, WBBK Blakely Dothan. This half hour brought to you as a public service of Knights Record Service 899-3257, Ashford, Dothan, and Headland. We're streaming live on Facebook, and we're also on YouTube Live on our channel, Wiregrass Radio. Just visit B1053 on Facebook, or you can go to Wiregrass Radio on YouTube and drop your comments in there. We're going to have a shortened version of the program today, but we want to welcome you guys in. Our guest this afternoon was going to be Dr. Lee Hughes, Dothan Anesthesiologist Associates. And unfortunately, the internet did not cooperate today, so we're going to reschedule that. Here with me, half of the Pollard and Dave morning show, the better half. That's Amy Pollard.
Thank you, Ricky. So good to be here.
And Dave's going to get me for that. Where's his Auburn seat?
It's somewhere in there. His butt cushion. He keeps it in there. Yeah, it's something he likes to aggravate me with.
So how's the afternoon treating you? How is the bouncing baby boy?
He's doing absolutely wonderful. I've had him cuddled up pretty much most of the afternoon. I've been working on getting my green screen for the show tomorrow because and actually Cheryl found me some green material. So I'm going to have that up, and we're going to be able to have a beach scene behind me for tomorrow.
All right, there's one word of advice about the green screen is make sure you got it lit good. If you don't have it lit good, in other words, it needs a light on it as well. Once you have that thing lit good, you can, and it'll backlight you as well to set you apart from it. So anyway, I've learned that through trial and error recently, as we've all gone to web and Zoom and StreamYard and Facebook Live and YouTube Live. It's our new reality at this point, and I don't think we'll do as much of it once we start easing back into our new normal. This is still going to be a big part of our daily routine, how we communicate, because folks have gotten comfortable with it. Finally, we were forced into getting comfortable with it. We had to.
I was talking about that this morning, how that's been something that we thought several years ago we would visit. And then we were like, no, people don't want to see the boring stuff behind the scenes. And then our listeners in the morning time quickly corrected me and said, it's just the opposite of that. We like seeing what's going on behind the scenes. So
about 4 or 5 years ago, Amy knows this, I bought a very expensive camera and I mounted it up here in the studio and had it all wired into the internet and had software called OBS, which could give you lower thirds and all kinds of banners and stuff. And we were just going to get going. And I came in the first day and Amy had taken it down.
I put tape over it. I actually put tape over the lens because I was like, shoot. I mean, we can't pick our nose. We can't do anything without people seeing that. And I'm like, I can't do it. So, yeah, I guess times have changed a little bit, and people have made me feel, more comfortable with, the boring side of our show, I guess, is what I call it, but
Well, I tell you, you and Dave have gotten very good. It's a new normal, just like we've been talking about our new reality. And you and Dave have adapted. And your morning show, now 6 to 9 every morning on B1053, is not only on the air, but it is also on YouTube and Facebook.
mhm,
And like Amy said, you are watching start to finish, soup to nuts, the whole show, including all the outtakes, as they say, because it's your behind the scenes. Unfortunately, because of licensing and the all the licensing agencies, we're not able to play the music on the
right.
stream. We could probably do it, and I'm working on it through a private stream, which means we would have our own server on our
Mhm.
website, b1053.com. You could go there and watch it, and therefore we wouldn't be going through the portals of Facebook or
I like
YouTube.
that.
They wouldn't
That
strike us.
would be
So
awesome. That would be great.
I'm looking into that, and maybe they could have a left and right channel. They could have a left channel where they could hear the music, and a right channel where they could hear you talking. So they could go like this, and they could listen to the music, or they could go like this and listen to the talking. So
That's
one way or
pretty
the other.
cool.
So yeah,
That's way more technology than I know what to do with, so that's why we have you to do all that because 'cause you're
and then
wonderful.
they could go like this,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen,
Well,
something
yeah,
that's kind of on my mind today, um, is I'm feeling, really, really, kind of I don't know if down is the word or if the word is, just really bad for a lot of our local mom and pop businesses that are not getting to reopen right now, and
I know what the word is, Amy. I know what the word is because
what's
I feel the same way. The word is disappointed.
Yeah, yeah, because, you know, I'm very much for the underdog. I'm
Hmm.
always one of those people that's rooting for the underdog, and I feel like our local businesses, the privately owned, not the franchisee, well, it can be the franchisee even, but our mom and pops, our local people that are truly business owners here in the Wiregrass area are suffering so much, and, I just feel like I wanna just go out and, like, just forge this big, "Oh, we gotta get a team together, and we gotta talk about this, and we need to talk to the people, up in Montgomery," and because there's so much of this now granted, I want to preface all this with saying this is an unprecedented time for
Hmm.
all of us. So, with that being said, there are no playbook rules. There's no, "Oh, okay, section 32 on page 14
Right.
tells us this is what we need to do." So, it's kind of a trial and error process, but it's really hard for me to understand how, there's certain businesses like we talking I'm not slamming on tattoo parlors or anything like that, but I don't believe that you can come in any more close personal contact than you do with a tattoo parlor. And yet in a lot of states, those businesses are allowed to open, but your hair salons are not, or your gyms are not, where people can go in, work out solo on a piece of equipment, wipe it down when they're done. There's I see a lot of businesses like the gym owners and I mean, tanning salons are allowed to open
Right.
back up. It's just I'm really frustrated with it, and I feel the frustration from a lot of our local business owners and listeners and viewers, and I just wanna say that I have so much sympathy about that. I too am a business owner. Um, I own rental property in Panama City Beach. They've opened up the beaches. They are saying, "Hey, the beaches are open back up. Um, now you can come down and lay on the beach and enjoy your family, and we're keeping the clusters small, but yet they won't let me as a property owner rent to a family that wants to come down. And so, things like that are just so frustrating, and I'm hoping that real soon that we're gonna have some better answers and some better opportunities for our local businesses to open back up, Ricky, because it's just extremely frustrating and disheartening right now.
You and I discussed this in detail the other day because I fall in the same boat. It's not rental property, but it is rental business, rental property, and I get nothing either. And
Mhm.
there is no SBA, there is no PPP that's going to
Right.
address my losses. Um, you see the comment there from Carl Grosskirth. He says, "Need your own server? Call the Clintons." They
Yeah, they've got a server. Wink, wink. Um,
also Warrior Girl says,
She's
actually,
about
it's
ready to go to
Michelle.
Georgia.
Here's Michelle. She says, "Thank you for the birthday message." So,
Another thing that I'm thinking about, Ricky, when we're talking about all these businesses and, um, you know, I haven't confirmed it, so I mean, it might be something that you can research while I'm actually talking about it. A lot of our local businesses are having a really hard time hiring employees back because what has happened is our government has made it so easy to sit at home and in most cases draw a bigger check
mm.
sitting at home than they were drawing by working. It is in essence encouraged people to draw the unemployment. So today, um, I got notice a while ago, and like I said, I didn't look it up myself, but what was a 6 or 8 week unemployment time
Right.
period has now been extended to 6 months. Is that correct? If that's correct, and people are going to be able to draw the unemployment for 6 months, that kind of changes the logistics of people going back to work and the employers being able to bring people back in to the business establishments as well. So I'm actually having business owners who are talking to me and saying, "Hey, I can't even hire people right now. I can't lure people back to work." And that's going to be a long term issue that we're going to have to battle as business owners as well.
And we're already in that. We're going to be battling that. I don't know about the length of time that you were talking about, but there was speculation that it could equal $600 a week or
Mhm.
$800 a week. I'm hearing
Right.
now with certain supplements, it could equal $1,000 a week. Do you think they're coming back to work for a
Nobody,
thousand
listen.
dollars a week? They'll ride that boat until it sinks.
And
But
then we have, so Crack Wizard here on our, comments is saying, "So why don't businesses pay their employees more?" I agree it is an opportunity, but as a business owner, you do have budgets, and you do have to stay well within your budgets in order to operate that business. So,
mhm.
granted, I'm all for fair wages for jobs that are being performed, and wages earned should, uh reflect what you're asking your employees to do. But at the same time, if businesses can't operate within the restrictions of what their budgets are, then they're going
Right.
to go under anyway. What's going to end up happening is a implosion, if you will, of the economy because one thing's going to trigger this to happen and another thing's going to trigger another
Well, look,
and
a local business in the Wiregrass area cannot outspend the U.S. government. We can't do it.
right,
We
right,
cannot outspend the U.S. government. We cannot give you handouts. We cannot
right,
give our employees handouts. We give them a fair wage based on what our business earns and what your labor requires.
right,
And that is the way that the free market works. And when it stops working that way, meaning there is a third entity that now says, well, he's paying you or she's paying you $500 a week or paying you $1,500 every 2 weeks.
mhm.
I'm going to pay you $2,000 every 2 weeks to do nothing and don't go back to your employee.
That's
And we can't compete with that.
no,
That's
we
not going to
can't.
happen. We can't.
And and here's the thing, um, I don't I'm for people, being able to survive and make it work during this time, and don't get me wrong, I've drawn unemployment before in the past, so I'm all for it. I don't wanna see anybody's family suffer or hurt, but at the same time, when you're tripling somebody's normal income, you are enabling them to say, I don't think I want
Mhm.
to go back to work. So I think there's more than one solution. Um, one solution is when your company opens back up, the place where you were employed at the time that this all took place, when that company opens back up and offers you your job back, if you turn that job down, then you no longer receive unemployment benefits.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
That
It already is supposed to work that way. If there is a job, and you've fallen on times where you've needed unemployment, and just after I got out of the military many years ago, same thing happened to me. And listen, when you're drawing unemployment, you're on the street and you're hitting it and you're getting it and you're knocking on doors and filling out applications. And as soon as a job comes along, you take it because you want to support your family and you want to work. You do
right,
not want the government to support you.
right.
And unfortunately, that is not the way that a majority
Well,
of folks think these days. So,
we have a comment here too saying, "Oh, put yourself back at risk. Go out so the business can make money. Put yourself at risk, and then don't the workers not getting compensated for putting themselves." I understand that as well
mhm.
because right now some businesses, in my opinion, in some places are opening prematurely. So I will give you that. Just because the government comes in and says, "Oh, okay, now we're lifting these restrictions," doesn't necessarily mean that in every single county and city that there's still not some high risk associated with it. So I understand what you're saying there. And maybe there should be an opportunity for an increase in wages for those who do come back earlier than expected. So there can be some tweaking, if you will, or some compromise associated with it. But we all know that the average person who's tripling their income by staying at home, they're not going to go back to work. That's
Mm.
where the issue is. So I think there's some things that can be done to compromise and come, where it's a win-win for both sides. I get that, but it's just really frustrating right now. Um, the government is not going to be able to just continue to support every citizen. And let me say something else about this, Ricky. I don't think it's good as an individual to be dependent on the government.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Gosh,
because
no.
it starts with
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and then it can lead into so many other things that I think would make a lot of American citizens unhappy when how you feed your family depends on what the government
You don't.
controls for
You
you.
don't
It's
you
not
don't
a
wanna get me you don't wanna get me started on that. Oh
and
my goodness, no.
and I'm there too.
That's a whole 'nother show right there
Yeah.
into itself. Here's one thing, and, we'll wrap this up for this afternoon, but here's one thing that has to be addressed, and I'm proud that it has come down to the states making their decisions on
Mhm,
how and when they open because, for instance, you have, New York State
mhm,
that encompasses New York City, the state, because it has to count New York City. Um, as of yesterday afternoon, almost 24,000 deaths associated with COVID 19. As of yesterday afternoon, Kentucky, 213 deaths statewide.
mhm,
And that's in the larger areas of Kentucky.
right.
Why then does that small community in Kentucky that has minimal COVID 19 exposure, no deaths to COVID 19, yet their shops are locked up tight, just
Mhm,
like New York City,
mhm,
are locked up tight, just like Lexington, Kentucky would be
mhm,
locked up. It's
right.
almost going to have to come down to a regional and
County,
community
yeah.
level.
I agree. And that's why we have government officials in all our different counties, and maybe that's what it needs to come down to. Because what's good for North Alabama and Birmingham or Huntsville or where they've had hotter spots than we've had down here,
Mhm.
we shouldn't necessarily have to be held to those same standards when a lot of our areas are way more rural. So the opportunity um, for the COVID-19 exposure can be less, and the opportunities for businesses to open up sooner, I think, can be greater in areas like that. So I think it's eventually going to come to that. Um, and I think that could be beneficial. I just know that there's a lot of people out there that are hurting and anxious to go back to work. And you have to remember, when the unemployment does get to the point that the folks say, "Okay, no more, we're cutting this off." If you were the one to turn your nose back up at your job and say, "No, I'm gonna just sit at home and draw unemployment right now," then you don't need to be the first one crying when you don't have a job and your benefits have been cut in half. And then once again, you're back on $200 a week.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going. If you are able and your, job is offered it back to you and you feel safe in the conditions they're using those guidelines set forth by the CDC, then I think the opportunity is there and you should look at it, maybe perhaps with caution, communicate with your employer and say, "Hey, I am all down for doing what I can do. I'm not quite comfortable yet. What can I do from home to help the business?" Or, there may be some other opportunities there, or even different, maybe not the same job you were doing before. Maybe there's a different job opportunity
Mhm.
that better suits you during this time. But, I'm just really, like you say, disappointed, and I feel the pain for a lot of the business owners here in the Wiregrass, and hopefully some of this stuff will ease up shortly so that we can get the Wiregrass area back up and running the way, that it can be. I know the normal is gonna be a new normal now, but, um, you know, I I just am very anxious to see those people that are hurting, have some relief for sure.
Well, based on the chat this afternoon, very strong opinions on both sides of the issue. Very strong opinions about some of the topics we were talking about this afternoon. And it also is important for me to note that the opinions of Amy Pollard and Brother
Yeah,
Ricky Carter are strictly our own and not those opinions of
yeah.
Wiregrass Radio. But we do welcome your opinion as well. And we thank you for commenting. We want to thank you for being with us today on Wiregrass Strong. We'll reschedule Dr. Lee Hughes, Dothan Anesthesiologist Associates. We'll get him back in here next week. He tried, and
He
we
did.
tried. And
Now, one good thing that I saw today that was a positive, Ricky, um, UAB, just coming out in the news a few hours ago, with some of the new, treatments that they've been
Mhm.
using on the COVID-19 patients are going to be used nationwide now, that is gonna be used for the standard of treatment. So, go UAB
That's
Blazers.
right.
That's
Alabama
awesome.
leading the way once again. Amy, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. You can catch Amy Pollard tomorrow morning.
Thank
It is
y'all.
a Friday free for all starting at
Right.
6 o'clock with Pollard and Dave tomorrow morning on B1053. See you later. All right. Amy Pollard there. We want to thank you for being with us on Wiregrass Strong today. And again, like I said, we'll reschedule Dr. Lee Hughes. We gave it the good old college try, and it didn't work this afternoon. Tomorrow, I want to invite you to join me when I will have David Duke of Wiregrass 211, as well as Daniel Lewis of PEG, that's Premier Entertainment Group, who will be doing live from downtown entertainment tomorrow night. And we'll be talking about that on Wiregrass Strong, the Friday edition, tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. This half hour brought to you as a public service of Knights Wrecker Service. Big or small, they do it all. 899-3257. Call Knights. Great folks over there. And streaming live on Facebook, as always, B1053, and on YouTube, the Wiregrass Radio channel. Hope you have a great Thursday afternoon. Some businesses opened up at 5 o'clock. They'll probably be open tomorrow as well. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, we return you now to your normally scheduled programming. B1053.